Hey guys, your mental health awareness back here today. We have Amy joining us again with Go Figure and Allie from Hair by Allie Jade, if I got that right, if I remember correctly. So guys, how you guys doing? How was your weekend?
Okay.
Been good.
So before we get started, I want to make sure we put that post out there. I saw Amy, you and Allie both shared it as well from our page, so thank you for that. Amy and Allie have accepted positions on our nonprofit board of directors to be directors with us, to join us. Our other person on our board unfortunately could not make it tonight, but shout out to him. Travis Lamore of I Got Your Six First Responders has accepted the role of vice president to our board. So guys, thanks for joining us. Thank you for accepting that and joining me on this journey as we go through mental health.
Thank you.
Thank you. So excited.
Yes, so we're looking forward to it. So kind of like today, we talked a lot last week, right, about several different things that very in depth. So real, kind of want to keep this a little shorter, obviously, I think, but kind of just let's kick it off with, how was everybody's weekend? What did you guys do? Anything fun or kind of worked or stressful? What was going on, guys?
So we did, we just watched a little bit of football, kind of relaxed. We're going out of town this coming weekend for Scuba's birthday, so we kind of just took it easy. Nothing crazy.
All right. Amy?
I had some work this weekend. I had a breakthrough session with a client, and those last all day long.
Wow.
And then I had the exciting event of my air conditioning going out.
So
we've been dealing with that.
So you say exciting event with your air conditioning. For those who don't know, do you want to share what happened over the past 24, 48 hours here?
Oh, it's been a joy. The last 48 hours has been 89 degrees in my house. I have 7 dogs, so those dogs have had fans on them, but the resident of the house, myself, has not. So it's been very hot and very sweaty and just so incredibly exciting the entire time.
I can imagine that that's probably very miserable in the South Florida humidity and heat.
Oh yes, I was actually, everybody's been like, oh, the rain today and everything, and I'm like, hallelujah, thank you. I sat outside on my patio and just enjoyed it for a minute.
And surprisingly, with how much rain we had today, it was not humid. Like
Yeah,
it was nice out.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it too soon and jinx us, but it felt like almost like Florida fall.
Oh,
nice.
Hey girl, hey.
There you go. So you know what's going to happen now you said that, Allie, is that tomorrow it's going to be beyond humid and we're going to hit light. So thank you.
Absolutely. Of course.
Yeah, that's what happens. Well, that's coming from a person who doesn't have to go to work tomorrow, who actually, works her schedule. And so, Allie, you work weekends primarily, Thursday through Saturday, right? Right now, at least.
As of right now, yeah, until we open up further phases.
Okay. So you were off today. You had an exciting afternoon or early evening, I guess, because we're almost 8 o'clock. So why don't you tell us, what did you have going on tonight that was a little exciting for everyone?
We did our engagement pictures for our wedding coming up in the spring.
Very nice. And how'd that shoot go? I know weather held up for you?
The weather was absolutely beautiful. When we woke up to a downpour this morning, and it didn't let up all afternoon, I texted our photographer, and our photographer drove down from Brevard County. And so I was really anxious. I didn't want to have her come down here and then we have to reschedule. So I felt super bad, and I was just kind of in straight panic mode that I typically jump into over the smallest things, and a little bit proud of myself. Instead of panicking, I just said, if it rains, we're just going to play in the rain and make the best of it. And those will just be our engagement pictures. But it held out beautifully. And the sunset, peeking through the clouds, because it was a little bit overcast still, but the sunset peeking through was absolutely beautiful when we were down at the beach finally to close them off. So
that's awesome.
I went
I'm
really
glad to
good.
hear that. Good. I'm glad to hear that. And I'm glad to hear that your mind went to that panic mode, like you said, and it held through, but you came out stronger on the other end. So congratulations for that.
Thanks. Small accomplishments.
Small accomplishments, small steps at a time, right? I think we can all agree on that. So when you get those shots, those pictures back, we expect to see them posted all over the pages.
Oh,
we want to
absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad that you brought up that panic mode. And Amy, thank you for sharing your last 48 hours, 24 hours with us on how wonderfully hot it has been in your house with 7 dogs, especially. So before we go any further, really quick, that legal disclaimer, guys, remember, we're not licensed medical professionals. This is not to be considered medical advice of any kind, professional advice of any kind. If you are experiencing an emergency, please call 911 immediately. All that said, so which one of you wants to start? So both of you have brought up 2 great things, right? So Amy, you obviously had a very stressful last 24 hours, and Allie, past, let's say 12-ish hours have been kind of, you know, you went into that panic mode with the weather for your engagement photos. So one of you, whoever, why don't you kick us off and tell us what you kind of did to bring your mindset back?
I'll jump in first and just kind of throw myself out there. I mean, I literally had to do a lot, and normally I'm not shaken by a lot because I work in mental health. I'm trained in a lot of different things and techniques. I have a really good understanding of things nowadays. So it takes a lot to get me kind of unhinged, and I was like this close, you know, because just unrelenting heat and stress. I mean, literally the night it happened, I had just finished, I want to say that breakthrough session went about 10 hours straight with a client. And, you know, so that's draining in and of itself. It's a beautiful thing. It went really well. So I'm really happy and excited about that, but it's just a really long day. And then immediately after that, I have to climb up in my attic in 90-some degree heat and, you know, see what I can do about this air conditioning problem. And by that point, I think it was almost like 11, midnight. It was late. So, you know, there was not really any immediate help that was going to happen. So I really did have to kind of talk myself down a little bit and, you know, say to myself, okay, just take this one thing at a time, breathe, stay calm, you know, because 7 dogs too, I've got pit bulls, and they feed off your energy. So if you escalate, if you're angry or upset, they are like, they're frantic if you get frantic. And so they knew the heat was happening too. They could feel it. I was putting fans on them and getting them comfortable and things like that as much as I could. But, you know, I didn't want to have craziness happening.
Right.
So, you know, and I had to, it was hard to sleep. I was doing cold towels and things like that. I took a couple of cold showers, you know, just ice, dropping ice in my shirt, honestly, like anything I could, because you know what, honestly, it's kind of shocking. Like a cold shower is a little shocking, and it snaps you out of that like thought process. And you tend to get, I tend to get like, I overanalyze. So I get stuck in that sometimes. I had to reach out to a couple of people. I had to call a couple of people, and, you know, I didn't break down or anything like that, but I mean, I was close. Like I was there. If one more thing had happened,
Total meltdown.
I would have been in that kind of an emotional place. So, you know, I think it's good to speak to that and, you know, speak to, you know, when things go really south on you really fast and you're not expecting it. And, you know, what do? Like, I think you just go simple and jump in a shower, cold, hot, whatever, you know, splash some water in your face, you know, ice cube trick, like you talked about in our last video, like little things, just simple, just anything immediate that's right in that moment going to help you. And, you know, pick up the phone. I know Travis has talked about that too. Pick up the phone instead of picking up the bottle. And I had that thought. I don't have problems with alcohol or addiction or anything like that. I just don't drink any longer. I did, you know, when I was much younger, but I've never been one to drink to really excesses per se. A couple of times, learned my lesson, you know, and I thought about it because there's some alcohol in the house and stuff and whatnot. It just sits there. It's sat there for years because I don't really touch it. And I really did have a thought for half a second, like, man, I would just love to drink myself under the floor right now. And I was like, stop that. That is definitely not going to help you right now. It's not the right mindset to be in, you know, so I kind of had to talk myself down off that ledge. So I think anybody can kind of share that feeling, whether you have, you know, issues with addiction seriously or not. I think everybody has those moments sometimes when they're under severe stress. So.
Yeah, for sure. So you went through, you said 89, 90 degree weather temperatures for about 24 hours. Your AC's
48 hours,
48 hours. Okay, and so your AC is finally working again, right?
It's cooling down now. Yeah, we're in the mid 70s.
So for those of you who don't know who or may live out of Florida or have not had the pleasure of experiencing our hurricane season, 90 degrees for 24 to 48 hours is awful. When we get down to the mid 70s, we start to kind of rejoice because we know that we're starting to cool down. So you had a good, nice little, I hate to say a mini hurricane party there, but no power. You got to experience it all over again. So I don't envy you for one bit, but
like
you came out the other
quarantine, but
side.
worse.
Right.
Yeah, it's one thing to be quarantined. It's another thing to be quarantined without AC, right?
Yep.
So I mean, that's just me. I don't want to do that. So, so you came out the other end. You're stronger. You didn't, like you said, you did not falter and start to drink
And I
yourself
have
under
to
the
say,
floor.
like, I'm very thankful for the people that I did talk to and reach out to. I have a hard time asking for a lot of help, being vulnerable. I mean, that's difficult, and I was just asking people, hey, tell me something positive, or, whatever it was. And I got good feedback from the people that I reached out to. And then just, working on myself in those moments. I have to say I'm really proud of myself for how I made it through that. So
that's awesome. That's
congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah. So you're stronger now. You got that. So congratulations. You're through all that. It shows personal growth, right? And I think that's the key is, you got to be able to reach out to somebody, right? So I think for me, it's about when people talk about, oh, I have to ask for help, they feel like they're weak. And the truth is you're not weak. It actually takes a lot of strength and courage to say, hey, I can't do this anymore on my own. I need somebody there to help me. So, congratulations. I'm glad that you got the help you needed. Have that strong support system is always a good idea. It's honestly what gets us all through it. So, thanks for sharing that. And then, Allie, you said earlier your panic mode kind of set in this morning with our weather. You had your engagement photos this afternoon. So what did you do to kind of get yourself through these past 12, 13, 14 hours to just kind of truck through and be a trooper?
So as in true Allie form, I procrastinated with everything. So I had no idea what I was wearing up until yesterday. And being like a professional makeup artist, like I wouldn't it just didn't occur to me to like maybe book somebody to do my own makeup. So then I'm like just in full panic mode as per usual. And then I wake up to the rain, and I'm the type of person where I tend to like jump the gun with my emotions, and I get like, it's always like the worst of the worst. Like it could be the smallest, tiniest little thing. And it's really not that much of a big deal. But for me, it will be. And it just downward spiral from there, because then it will overflow into not just how I'm feeling, but then I, take it out on my fiance. I'll take it out on my job, and it's just, it snowballs, and it's like a butterfly effect, and it just ripples throughout the entire day. So like normally where I would have been super crazy panicked, like once I got into that mode, I kind of just like stopped for a minute and took an hour to just breathe and see what was going to happen. And like for me to be able to make the decision to say, you know what, worst case, if it's just pictures of us playing in the rain out front of some big graffiti building, like that's not like the worst thing at the end of the world, and it just was more of like, take the situation of what's been presented to you, and how can you make the best out of it? Like if this was what was going to be, this is what was going to be. That's just the way life was going to happen, and wasn't anything I was going to do to change it. I can't change the weather. There wasn't, an option to move locations because I didn't plan for that. And it kind of made me feel a lot better. And then somewhere in the back of my mind, it was kind of like, it would kind of be cool if it rained. So it was kind of like, maybe it will rain, because that would be, so it was just kind of like one of those like eye-opening moments for me, that I took something that really isn't all that big of a deal. Like their engagement pictures, it's not going to be the end of my relationship. It's not going to ruin the whole thing. And I was able to like pull back my emotions a little bit. And instead of like freaking out and spazzing and doing whatever, like we forgot like the snorkel mask that I was going to hold in the pictures on the beach, because it's like Scuba's little logo, like for all of his bartending. It's like a snorkel mask because it's Scuba. So we were going to take these pictures, and we totally forgot it. We were already all the way up in Lake Park by the time we realized. So like another thing that I would have like totally spazzed out about and been upset because put the task on Scuba and he doesn't want to admit it, but he forgot it. But not the end of the world. So it was kind of one of those, I had to like talk myself down off of a ledge over something so silly. Like it's engagement pictures. It's not the end of the world, so, you know, but normal Allie would have been through the roof and like completely devastated. I probably more than likely would have canceled my pictures like I have in the past over stupid, silly things. But, you know, I was able to like make it through and finished on a positive. So
Awesome. That's
success.
awesome. Congratulations. Yes, the small steps, right?
We killing it today.
I was gonna
That's what it's
say,
about.
you know, like different circumstances, but you know, still like very similar struggles. Like, and we all go through stuff, and it doesn't matter. You know, it could seem like it's silly or small, but it can really be a big thing to a person if that's how they associate with it. So.
Yeah, you know, it's all small steps. So, you know, Allie, great plug throwing Scuba under a bus. I'm sure he's gonna love that when he sees this video later. So that being said,
That's my job.
Scuba, Amy and I had nothing to do with that. That was not pre-planned. That was all on Allie, right? So let's just throw that out there because, you know, I've learned a rule, right? You never piss off the person that makes your drinks or your food. So I'm never gonna piss off, intentionally at least, piss off Scuba. You know, you both shared that, and that's awesome. You guys got through it. Adversity is what makes us stronger and helps us grow as people. You know, the old saying, right? There was something a friend of mine said to me. You're going back probably 5-10 years, so I was probably just out of undergrad, and it was, "Smooth seas never made for a skilled sailor."
Yep.
And it's true, right? You guys, we face adversity every day. It's how we handle it, and the big thing is, Allie, you would hit it on the head. It was the old Allie would have said, you know what, and freak out and have a huge panic attack and be very anxious about it and cancel, right? Gone off the deep end, for lack of a better word. But you took that small step. So, and that's what it's about, you know, growth. And so both of you for sharing, you know, thank you with that. Thanks for the tips. So let me ask you guys this, and Amy, we'll start with you. What is your biggest tip? Somebody who's struggling, going through an anxiety, having an anxiety attack, a panic attack, a depressive mode, whatever it may be, or just not feeling, you know, just feeling a little down, you know, not necessarily fully depressed, but just not happy, you know, gloom. What would you say, if you give one tip, what is your best tip you could give them?
Only one?
Yeah, so let's limit it down to one. Your best, so the one thing let's call it your go-to, right? The go-to trick that you use to help just kind of relax and calm your mind.
Like the first thing, if I'm going to go off my example, you know, is a lot of times, like if I'm able to, which I work out of my house a lot because I have an office here, is I hop in a shower. Just saying, like I literally use that for a lot of stuff. You know, it just is kind of like a reset button for me. The water is calming and soothing, and the noise of it is also, and so it's just a sensory thing too. It's kind of comforting and stuff like that, whether it's cold or hot, depending on what, you know, what I might need to deal with. I can either like wake myself up, snap myself out of it, you know, things like that. So like I would say that would probably be one of my first things, you know.
Okay, good. So if nothing else, we've learned about Amy that she's a very hygienic person. So that's a good thing.
Well, as a personal trainer and how much I sweat all day, every day anyways, like, I mean, 3-4 showers a day, it's like normal.
If we're going to go there, I'll be very, you know, let's be honest. Let's go, if we're going to go there, you know, I sweat in the AC, so I don't need to be in a situation where you had no AC for 48 hours. Because at that point, I would have checked into a hotel until it's fixed. I would have honestly probably told my wife,
if I didn't have 7 dogs, I would totally do it.
Well, we have that fixed for you now. We now know where you can go. You can go to Allie's house, take the 7 dogs. Scuba,
yes.
sorry, you got kicked to the couch. So
showing up.
The couch is really comfortable. I don't feel bad for him.
I'm down.
There you go. And then Allie, let's say, you know, same question. What would be your number one go-to trick to help somebody kind of just reset?
For what works best for me is kind of like just like something small and positive to tell yourself, you know, like no matter what it is, if I stop and I breathe and I just tell myself one positive thing, whether it's if I'm having issues with my, you know, with myself that day, if I'm like feeling self-conscious, if I'm feeling insecure, whatever the case may be, or I'm distracted, I find one small positive thing, whether it be pointing out something that, complimenting myself, complimenting my work, and, thinking of something positive I've done with myself, because then instead of fixating on the negative things that are going around that are putting me into that funk or giving me that anxiety or making me feel depressed that day, whatever the case may be that I'm struggling with, that one positive thing is more of like the fixture. And then from there, same kind of a thing, like a butterfly effect, it kind of just like, it grows in itself. And that one positive thing becomes the second positive thing. And the next thing you know, the rest of your day is just turned around in a positive kind of a mode. So baby steps in a sense, and just start with one little positive thing. And then from there going on with the rest of your day and trying to maintain that positivity and not letting those negative feelings back in.
Yeah. And I think it's easy, right? I think we all agree on this. It's easy to let the negative take over the positive, right? But I think that the biggest thing is that if we only look for the negative and only look for the bad and only look for the evil, that's all we're ever going to find, right? It's up to us. Look, let's be honest. Happiness is different for everybody, right? We have to find our own happiness. We have to make our own happiness. But at the end of the day, we need a support system, because let's be honest, we can't do this alone. We say it every day, right? You're Amy. You're in personal training, nutrition. It's up to your clients to make that lifestyle change, right? To become healthier. But they don't do it alone, because you're there holding their hand as long as they need it and guiding them. Yeah. Right? Ali, you are, do hair and makeup, and it's up to you to make sure, right? Especially when it's comes to wedding season, prom season, things like that. These women and girls are looking to you to make sure that they're not alone with their makeup needs, with their hair needs. They want to look the best they can for that one special night. So, those are big things, I think, for everyone.
I think like the biggest thing too, though, especially with like not just my industry, but like with what Amy does as well, it's, you don't realize, like when you have that level of closeness to a person and you're doing something that is hands-on with them, and it's regarding something that can be about their self-appearance, because I mean with Amy too, with like everything she does, like you're taking the way that a person looks at themselves and you're trying to physically help them make the changes that they need to see the good and positive inside themselves. But it's amazing once you get to that closeness with a person, how much they'll open up to you. And I'm sure like Amy can attest to that. Like I have clients where, I've watched them, over the years of growing with them, whether that's somebody that I've known prior to coming into the salon or not, you've seen them in the different stages of their life. You see them, you have, like for me, I have a client that'll come in and, I'm getting her hair done, doing her hair for her first date. And then it's, her engagement pictures, and then it's her wedding, it's her baby shower, it's her dad's funeral. You see these people at different stages of their life while they're trying to make outside changes for themselves so they feel better on the inside. So when they say that your personal trainer can be like your therapist, your hairstylist can be like your therapist, it
is a lot
truly
of
is
health work. I mean, you're helping people, improve their body image, their self-esteem, their confidence, their self-worth, their value. I mean, like a lot. So yeah, it does come into play. And that is one of the most beautiful things about what I do, is getting to see people blossom through all that stuff, and continue to grow. So
yeah, I think that's it's a great thing what you guys are doing. Obviously, we talk about it and people say, people can say whatever they want, right? I let people talk, let this noise around you. And I think that you got to block out the negative, block out all the outside noise. And you got to do what makes you happy, whatever it is, do it.
Right.
Shy of it being illegal, obviously, but I throw that out there because I've had some crazy responses in talks that I've had with some people, and they're like, oh, if this makes me happy, well, if it's illegal, please don't do it, because that's not the advice we're giving. Let's be clear.
Find the legal way to do it.
There you go. That's what I like. So that being said, I'm going to give it to you guys. Any questions you have for each other, for me, for anybody else out there before we wrap up for the night?
I'd like to just ask the audience to send us in some feedback and, what do you want to hear us talk about? So hit us with whatever you've got, that's what we're here for. And we want to kind of spread some word about some things. So what is it that you need? What is it that you struggle with? What is it that you want in your life? Like what's missing in your life that you really want? What's your problem? What's your, You know, what do you want to hear about? Do you want resources? What kind of resources? So like hit us with some questions on some things and light us up, like put us on the spot, and we'll get to it next week.
Yeah, and I will say, don't make it easy because you know, Amy likes the challenge there. So
I love it.
she's a scrappy one. So we'll let her handle the hard stuff, and I'll take the easy stuff.
Yeah.
Allie, anything you want to add?
Just same thing with Amy, you know, I definitely like give us a challenge, like give us an opportunity to utilize, you know, the struggles that we've overcome, and let us, you know, give us something to like give back and help us back with, you know, and we want to definitely make this a cohesive, you know, opportunity to, you know, share everything we've been through and kind of help, you know, everybody else with what they're struggling with.
Right.
It's therapeutic for us too, to see that,
Yeah, absolutely.
that good
It's
come out of it.
therapeutic.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll tell you guys that, you know, and it sounds so weird to say, especially since we're going through COVID still, unfortunately. You know, you hear all these advertisements, you know, we're in this together. Let me be very clear on something. If you make millions of dollars and have a mansion and you have your own full-size basketball court, Olympic swimming pool, movie theater in your house, we are not living the same. We are not in this together, because you can escape to another wing of your house. We can't. All right. That being said, you know, when it comes to mental health, let's be very clear, very honest with each other and ourselves. We are in this together, right? We don't do it alone. Obviously, you know, I created this company.
People that have that situation you just described are struggling mentally right now as well, even though they have that financial or, you know, personal situation.
Sure.
That's the cool thing that brings us all together, is that it doesn't make a difference. You know,
Right.
Everybody's having their own struggles and things right now in their own individual ways.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
we can help with all of that.
And what I mean by what I said is, let me be clear, this is not taking aim at anybody, anything at all. This is the fact that I hear multimillionaires saying this, you know, with what I do for a living and people I talk to, you know, it's, you know, I'll give you a perfect example. I talked to somebody, I was at lunch over the weekend with somebody, and they had said, look, you know, I'm tired of hearing these multimillionaires talk about how we're all in this together and how, you know, we're going to get through this together and whatever. I said, well, when I flat out asked him, I said, why do you feel that way? And he said, because I have to go to work every day. I'm an essential worker. These multimillionaires, they're not essential workers. And, you know, to his credit, to his point, he's right. But at the same time, what are we struggling with? We're all struggling in a difficult time, unprecedented times, uncharted territory. We will get through it. We'll get through it together. But to say that we're all in the same position, to his credit, he's right. We're not all in the same position to where we can escape to another wing of our mansion to watch a movie, to have personal chefs working for us. You know, it's just not us. You know,
I think
and there's nothing wrong with that.
With that, I think at the end of I think it comes back to, like, you as an individual, you have to find. You can't just, you have to like know where to align yourself with, because it tends to be like in the beginning of quarantine, it was a little bit, for me, it was a little frustrating seeing all of these celebrities, you know, talk about, you know, like complain almost about the state that they were in, and, you know, having to be stuck in the house. And, you know, I'm not going to name specific celebrities, but, you know, there was one in particular who went on this rant day and day and day and day about how horrible it was being stuck in the house. And you were stuck in a multi-million-dollar home and you had a backup plan. And, you know, we were sitting here crammed into our tiny little apartment, lost all of our jobs and no income coming in. And at first, initially, I was like, how dare you even say that? Like, cool, like you basically just got forced to take a vacation and maybe you'll explore that 8th bedroom that you never go into. Whereas we were in a different thing, and it kind of like, I had to take a step back and be like, their life might be stressful enough, but their life is nothing like mine. So I can't really compare my struggle to their struggle. You know, it's not like they were in the exact same situation complaining. And, you know, you have to like remove yourself from everything else in society. And you have to make sure you're putting yourself on a level that's not like everybody else, because we're not multimillionaires. Like, we shouldn't compare ourselves to that. Like, we got to find, you know, our level of struggle and stay within there and try to overcome it at that level. You know, you can't really, like, it's tough. And once you start comparing yourself to situations that are far bigger than what you're in, you're only going to set yourself up for failure. And you definitely don't want to put yourself in that position to begin with. And that's the key thing, is like, we can't look at those situations like that. We can't look at other people's, you know, lives and struggles, because with $1 million comes a million other problems that, you know, we don't have. And once you can separate and remove yourself from that comparison, you'll be so much happier, because then you're going to put yourself right back into check where you need to be.
Correct. And I think that's the big thing, right? And it's put us back into where we are, right? Everybody has a battle or has problems. And the biggest thing is, right, we don't know what other people are going through. We don't know their struggles, we don't know their battles. We don't know that. And I will agree 1,000% with what you just said, Allie. You know, the other side of that coin is it's up to us. We have two choices when we wake up every morning, right? It's go out and we can be bitter and sour and cranky and whatever and negative, and just kind of like have all the worries in the world put on our shoulders. Or you can get up and you do what you got to do to get by, and you're happy about it. You take it one step at a time. You know, baby steps, like we've all said multiple times here. And it's true. It's baby steps. It's putting it into perspective for each of us. So all of that, you know, we covered a lot of tips, and I think it's right. And, you know, the mentality is there, but it's about what's making you happy. And Allie is going to cuddle her cat, and that's going to make her happy for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, this is Whiskey. Say hi.
So
Cute.
So you have a cat named Whiskey, and you have
and then I have Tequila. Yes.
So you might want to clarify that for our viewers. You have tequila, like you have the drink tequila in your cup there, or a cat named Tequila?
So it was coffee I was drinking,
Okay.
coconut flavored coffee.
Good.
And then, I mean, I do have tequila and whiskey in the liquor cabinet, being a bartender, of course. But then I have the kitties too. And I always, I feel like I have to clarify that sometimes, because I'll say something like, you know, when I say I'm snuggled up with whiskey and tequila, it does not mean sometimes it means I have the bottles in bed, but 9 times out of 10, I don't.
9 times out of 10.
Surprisingly, like I hardly ever drink alcohol these days anymore. It's like very rare that I will. So it's sometimes like I forget that whiskey and tequila is like not my cat.
Right.
But
yeah, no, trust me, it's a great thing when you stop drinking for a while, and you know, I'll tell you, your health, just overall, my mood's gotten better, because I'm the same way. I haven't tried to drink in a while, but you know, so Amy and Allie, thank you for sharing your best practices, your tips. Thank you again from us for joining our board of directors here. And guys, we look forward to talking with everybody here in the future. Like they both said, Allie and Amy both said, send us your thoughts. Send us what you want to talk about. If you want to remain anonymous, tell us. Send us an inbox message to our Facebook page. You can send any one of us on our Facebook if you're on there to our personal Facebook. That's fine. If you want to remain anonymous, you just got to tell us. The email address for the company is yourmentalhealthawareness@gmail.com. Yes, it is all spelled out. Yes, Amy, I know it is very long. We are working on that. That all being said, you guys are going to see an update to the page, Your Mental Health Awareness Inc. here on Facebook. It's going to be changed, as we were just approved for a fictitious name filing with the state of Florida to use the acronym YMHA. So we're going to make that a lot shorter for everybody here coming up in the next few days. Any final thoughts from either one of you before we sign off?
That's it. We'll wait to hear from the audience.
There you go. Guys, have a great night. Thanks for tuning in, and we will talk to everyone soon.
bye. Good night.